graphically represent it, ideally with the help of a software tool. I gave you Affinity Designer. You can use any other tool that suits you best. In the worst scenario, you can even draw your mechanism of action by hand. I would like a little report at the end that will have the schematic representation and a figure legend. I would like just a little description of the mechanism of action, as well as the different sources where you got the information from. So I can evaluate and I can see whether it reflects your representation, reflects the data that you retrieved. Because you realize I know several mechanisms by heart. I do not know all 1,000 mechanisms of action of different antibodies by heart. You are supposed to choose from the Excel file I gave you where there are more than 500 different monoclonal antibodies. However, you are asked to coordinate the effort among yourselves and not to address the same mechanism of action. You'll be working today, and if you need more time, you'll be working after this session. And we said the 21st of December, you'll come back and each one of you will present at least one mechanism of action for a monoclonal antibody. Even if you have done 2 of them or 3 of them, I don't know, 2 is the minimum per person, you'll present one of them. So you present it nicely and clearly. And the idea is not to present it only for me. The idea is to present it so everyone has understood how it works. So try to have this pedagogical aspect in your presentation. No, here this antibody goes with this target and this, that's it. A bit more to try to, so we understand what it's all about. What sort of disease, what sort of markers, how it happens in the kind of normal, healthy environment, how it's in the cancerous environment, if it's a cancer, if it's a monoclonal antibody in the oncology domain. Is this more or less clear what I'm asking? And I had shared with you, confidentially, this review that has not even been submitted yet from IMGT, where you have several figures of the mechanism of action of different monoclonal antibodies. You can get inspired by them. And the last thing I told you, take advantage of IMGT MapDB. I can even share my screen and show it to you. Right? I'm within IMGT, the main page. Everyone knows about this so far. I click at MapDB, monoclonal antibody database, and I had shown you, I just to refresh our minds. It's, I'm getting this out of the way. It's loading. I hope it's loading. There you are. This is the reference. This is the interface. I can choose randomly any number. So I show you. I search for monoclonal antibody 11, the IMGT number. And these are I had told you that this is the format, standardized format of the monoclonal antibody. You can take advantage of it. You do not have to do it again. You take it from the database. And you see there are several pieces of information given in the database. I'm not going to go into this again. We have discussed it, and actually it's quite self-explanatory. The company, the application, clinical indication, developmental status. What's phase M? What's the M? What does it mean M? There is phase 1, 2 clinical studies, and there is phase M, market. That is, this monoclonal antibody is in the market. It is being sold for chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL, and it's a therapeutic antibody. that has been developed by Genzyme, Berlex, and Millennium Pharmaceuticals. Right? Clear? Off you go. I'll be around up until 10:30 or so. But even if you have questions afterwards, you can email me. Is this clear? I did not hear anyone today. Everything is clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So off you go. I repeat, you can. I don't hear you. I don't know why I don't hear you. Maybe I see that you're talking, maybe, but I don't hear you. I'll put my headset to see if it will be any better. Yes.
So can I ask?
Oh yeah, now I can hear you. Yes.
So first off, we do one antibody, monoclonal antibody for each person, or we have to do 2 or 3?
I would say that you have to present orally, verbally, 1, but you do at least 2 per person. Because imagine that you have 1 wrong, then how can I evaluate myself? 0.
So
do at least 2. Do at least 2 per person. It's not much. 2 mechanisms of monoclonal antibodies per person, at least.
So that means when we present our work, we have to present at least 2 monoclonal antibodies?
No. There are 2 different things. There is the report. In the report, you'll have at least 2 per person. And there is the oral presentation. During the oral presentation, you'll present only 1 of them. I'll listen to you, and then I'll take your report. You'll send me your report, and I'll correct it. Is this clear?
Okay.
Another little thing. If 2 monoclonal antibodies, they have the same mechanism of action, I consider it as 1 mechanism of action. Is this clear, this subtle difference to you?
Okay.
I want you to address at least 2 different mechanisms of action of monoclonal antibodies. So even if you have 10 different monoclonal antibodies, but there is 1 mechanism of action, this is 1 mechanism of action. This is important for me. Any other questions at this stage? No? Off you go. You start. I'll be around. I might cut my camera, but I'll be around. I told you I'll be around for another 2 hours.